Everybody, we're back building the 3Racing crawler kit. Today we're going to be working on bag 3. We're going to start at page 9. As you can see, I have all the parts laid out here. That's really going to help us get organized, stay organized, and find the parts that we need. So first we're going to start with the housing. We're going to put 2 bearings, one in the front and one in the back. And then we're going to drop this spiral gear through the bearing right there. Going to grab the longer of the remaining 2 axles here. We're going to put the screw through the back of this, and it is a 8mm flathead screw, which I believe is this right here. All right, next I'm going to put this roller, drop that in there, make sure I turn it straight up. I take the outer shaft, line it up with that hole, and take one of those pins and drop it through. Okay, just like that. And then going to place the sleeve over it. And this has 2 sides. One has a larger hole, same as the outer shaft. So we want to make sure those line up, because we're going to put a screw through that when I made it to the spiral gear right here. And it is this step screw right there. Tighten that. And we're ready to go. There's one more step there, and that is to put this inner swing shaft through there, and I'm just going to put a piece of masking tape around it so it doesn't keep falling out. Next, we're going to assemble this gear right here. I'm going to take this and this. I'm going to drive 3 flathead screws on the back of it, and I believe it is these 3. Next, we're going to put bearings on both sides of this, and we're going to drop it into the housing here. Facing this direction. Just fit this in there and take a look. Okay, it is spinning, so that works. Go ahead and put some grease in there. I have quite a bit of grease in there already. Now we're going to close this up and put 10 screws all around. All right, I tightened all the screws off camera there. The next step, we're going to need all these parts right here. These 3 pieces, those 2 rings, and these screws, and also 4 of these 6mm screws. I'm going to put them all together. First step is to screw this onto the housing first, and it takes 4 screws, and it was these 6mm screws right here. All right, the next step is to put this face plate right here. And there's some adjustability to this. I'm going to set it at a 20-degree angle, just like the manual here. But before I do that, don't forget to put in a bearing, then set it on there. Okay, next step involves the universal shafts. Mine, for some reason, were not pre-assembled, like the illustration there. So all you do is just push that pin through. Go and do the other one as well. Really straightforward. This one I need to put in the roller and then pick a spot and put a pin through. And that's it. These are both ready. And these are going to be put in. Next step is to put a bearing onto the universal. Put a little ceramic grease on top of the universal so I can get this bearing on there a little bit easier. Just like that. And then the universal arm here, the knuckle arm, goes on to that over the bearing. Okay, and it's all the way in. Let's go and do the other side. Next step is to put these ball studs. It's a 2.5 hex head. Okay, if you're successful, it should look something like this. Make sure you drive the ball stud all the way through so that the flange touches the axle there. And now we're going to cover it up. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and that is the steering link right there, and hopefully everything works when I put it all together. A real quick note, when I was building this, I forgot to put on that bronze spacer right there, so make sure you put that on when you're building this, building the ball stud. And this, if you build it correctly, this should flex very freely without any binding. And make sure the universal is all the way into the bearing, and the universal is also all the way inside the axle itself. So keep an eye on that. Next, we're going to put on the brake pads. Okay. All it is a pin. And these brake disc is actually going to be the wheel hex, so make sure it indexes properly and goes all the way down. And this caliper goes right here, and there's two 1.5 millimeter screws that go in at the end from this angle, and just have to tighten it. Just like that. The wheel hex should still be free. The disc should still be free. The caliper is kind of just holding around it. It's not doing anything. I think that's purely decorative. So let me go ahead and do the other side. All right, with that, we've completed the front main shaft assembly of the front axle. And just make sure you have good range of movement in the steering, because that's going to be very important. And make sure this is free and it spins both sides. And that, you're done. Hope you like this video. Drop a like. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.